Is the king saying the fact is that my ancestor was not sold into slavery?
Okay. They can say that they never sold people.
Because my ancestor, Kosalo, told his children and his children's children, and he did not go willingly. To say that Africans were not sold into slavery is not only false, but it makes it seem as though he thinks I'm foolish. I feel very much so mocked by the laughter, and that got me even more enraged to the point to where I wanted to get up and walk away.
I was stunned. Do you know we lost relatives, and for you to sit here and deny it was shocking to me.
I didn't want the conversation to go where it was going. I just didn't want nobody to be hurt. He's not going to say that his family was part of the illegal slave trade.
We need to stop babying Africa. Not because Africa is weak, but because it isn't. I've noticed something lately, especially as Black Americans start delineating. There's been a shift toward infantilizing Africans again. A clear example is what happened in Minnesota with the Somali fraud cases. Every time it comes up, people rush to say they didn't know. A white woman made them do it. They don't understand how the U.S. system works. That framing may sound compassionate, but it's not empowering. It's paternalistic. You cannot on one hand say Africa is the birthplace of civilization, that Africans are intellectually superior, culturally advanced, and spiritually enlightened, and then on the other hand say Africans are confused, naive, childlike, and unaware of their actions. Infantilization doesn't help Africa become a powerhouse. It doesn't build accountability, it doesn't build sovereignty, and it definitely doesn't build respect. Another part of this willful ignorance shows up when people act like Africans were completely oblivious to what happened in the transatlantic slave trade. That framing strips Africans of agency and responsibility. You don't capture, sell, and transport human beings without understanding that something severe is happening. Acknowledging African participation doesn't erase European brutality. It completes the historical record. They spent my whole childhood telling us to give $1 a day, with the constant imagery of starving children, helpless villages, and they don't know better. That didn't elevate Africa. It froze it in the global imagination as dependent. And when people say Black Americans are lost children, and we need to respect Mother Africa, you can't then turn around and say, but we didn't know anything. Leadership requires responsibility, and power requires accountability. And this framing has real consequences. When Africa is constantly portrayed as dependent, confused, or incapable of self-management, it creates justification for outside control. That dependency mindset is exactly how European powers were able to carve up Africa in the 1800s and 1900s, under the guise of guidance, development, and help. And today, we're watching a similar pattern emerge with other global powers expanding their influence across the continent. Dependency doesn't protect Africa. It makes Africa easier to extract from.